Welcome to episode 19 of Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast with Chris Dredd.
Easy.
And myself, JB.
Woo! Woo, 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 woo.
And before we get started, I'd like to thank everyone that subscribed and watched and liked and commented so far. But if you like us. If you love it, hit that subscribe button wherever it is.
Even if you don't like us, still hit it. God damn you.
Be generous. We are
Come on,
officially the best looking guys on YouTube that host a wrestling podcast called Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast.
Fucking, he is not wrong. He is absolutely correct.
There we go. Chris,
Absolutely.
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. You're sounding a lot better. You've been saying your prayers, taking your vitamins, drinking your milk and that.
I had that Ico Pro Shakes and I'm better than ever.
Nice. You're ready. There's some contenders for your title of Ico Pro winner this week, though. There's one in particular that outshines everybody.
Oh, there's a clear winner by far.
Clear.
But before we get into, excuse me, there we go. I'm coughing already.
You started.
Some of that iced tea. Before we get into our main review show, there is a bit of news that we like to cover, and let's talk. I've got one here, and we've already spoke about this very quickly. I said I'm going to tell him the news. I'm going to let Chris go.
Yeah, he didn't even tell me what the news was, though. So this is live, folks. We're live.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal.
This is the only real sort of news from the week. There was little bits and pieces here and there. NXT had a takeover show. It was okay, good matches, all that stuff. But the big news: WWE is taking control of wrestlers' Twitch accounts, controlling their revenues, which will count against their downside guarantees, which is awful. It's next level greed on the WWE's part. You know, I'm a WWE fan, so is Chris, but you know, they're independent contractors. Like we always say, like they always make sure they say, you know, independent contractors, blah, blah, blah. And the same also applies to Cameo, which is, you know, if anyone doesn't know what Cameo is, look it up. It's, you know, people get paid to make video messages, to wish someone happy birthday, you know, happy work retirement, whatever. So WWE are now taking fees off that too. They're essentially acting as agents, taking a fee, taking their cut by doing absolutely nothing. Thoughts, Chris?
To be honest, right? I mean, when you look at, I mean, I like to produce music, to rap, to sing, to be a performer. I've done many live shows. I play instruments and all that kind of thing, right? But that has all stopped. At the moment, everything is on its arse. Any kind of performing arts, any kind of shows, whether you're an actor, actress, whether you're on the stage, whether you're a wrestler. So many independent wrestlers are dying on their arse right now. They're fucking dying because they can't do their shows. They can't, you know, do the holiday camps and this kind of thing. And I truly believe that WWE is dying on its arse a little bit because they're missing massive revenue streams at the moment from house shows, live shows, events, ticketing and all that kind of thing. They've got to be missing revenue from somewhere. And I read last week that Stephanie McMahon sold some of her second tier stocks and all this kind of thing to draw a little bit of money out. And yeah, I mean, it's a very strange time. I mean, we won't get into it now, how I feel about this whole fucking coronavirus thing. But what it does mean is that wrestlers are having to supplement their income in one way or another as well, because I think with the, I mean, there's still TV at the moment, and they're still doing shows.
Yeah.
But to me, it's only a very few characters, even less than usual, that are actually getting that screen time. I think it's a weird time for the TV, don't you think? Like the product itself.
Yeah, you're right. There is a lot of the same faces on TV at the minute, but that's because some of these guys stayed home by choice, which is up to them. They were given the choice whether they want to come to TV or stay home. Staying home is just as fair an option right now, especially
Staying home and being on Twitch and Cameo. Do you know what I'm saying?
making some side money, which
that
doesn't,
side hustle.
Yeah, and WWE have decided that they will no longer be able to do that unless WWE take the cut. Which
it's fuckery, right? It's fuckery because in one breath they're saying these people are independent contractors, and then in another breath they're saying, yeah, but if you do this stuff externally, we're gonna take money off you.
You're employees, but you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the thing. But I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that WWE invested heavily into a online streaming gaming kind of thing, didn't they? They had something, and what was it? Tout. That's it. And
didn't work.
Obviously, they would have wanted all the wrestlers having their things on there. I mean, who's the guy with up, down, down?
Oh, Xavier Woods.
Yeah, so Xavier Woods is allowed to have his thing still going. He's got it on the network, hasn't he?
I think he had something on the network.
Do you know what I mean? So it's all very WWE, isn't it? It's all very, very same old shit that they always play. They always want to take, and they don't want to give anything. They don't want to lose any kind of money, any kind of revenue. It's that greed. It's that fucking greed again that is just, fuck these guys. They fucking do what we tell them, else they don't go on TV. And I suppose the way they look at it is, we give them the platform to be who they are, and therefore they're making money off the back of who they are because they built it up on our TV product. You know what I mean?
In the same breath, though, you look at someone like AJ Styles, who was a name before he came to WWE.
Yep.
Has his own Twitch channel, all that stuff, and now they're like, well, no, we're going to help ourselves to that too. Like,
yeah,
someone like AJ who made his name outside of the WWE it must really suck for him.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, to coin a very UK phrase, every cunt and their uncle's got a fucking Twitch channel now. So it's...
I don't.
No, but I mean, like in the wrestling, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like become the in thing. Like every cunt and their uncle's got one. So, most of these people have got Twitch channels and they're sitting playing games because it's like the in cool thing.
Let's be honest,
now.
if it's not Twitch, it's OnlyFans. And yeah, that's its own story, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, are there any wrestlers with OnlyFans that aren't independents? No WWE stars have got OnlyFans.
There's no WWE stars that we know of now that got their
because
OnlyFans.
I don't think you have to show no cooch on there or anything, do you? You could just do
like be on OnlyFans watching, TV.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, there's no promise of
subscribe and pay to watch you do it. It's
yeah. I mean, there's no promise of pum pum, but
no.
It's one of them things where in this day and age, if you're going to employ people and you're going to give them guaranteed contracts, then in the contracts it would say you ain't allowed to make no money and do these external things. But then if they're independent contractors and they have to pay for their own travel and pay for their own insurance and do this and do that, then you've got to allow it some leeway for them to do whatever they're doing externally. So WWE, you punk ass bitches, you can't have it all your way. Do you know what I'm saying? You cannot you can't have it. You can't have it all your way at the end of the day.
Yeah, they can't have your be cake. Employees and not be employees at the same time.
No,
it doesn't make sense.
You've got to do one or t'other, as we say.
This is something that it worked for the WWE and the WWF for many years, but it's something that probably needs to change now.
I mean, AEW are openly touting that these guys are they're advertising their Twitch streams on the TV.
Yeah. I mean, the first joke that was done about that was funny. After a while, becomes a bit. It's no longer funny. It's like, oh, okay,
Wrestling's supposed to be wrestling.
I mean, and for taking shots, I mean, someone like Tony Khan, who took a lot of shots on Monday Night Football here in the UK last week for his tweeting about Fulham FC and how they didn't get the transfer targets they wanted. He got ripped to shreds by Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher, which was beyond hilarious, because it makes you wonder where his full focus is. Is it, in wrestling, or is it in the NFL, or is it at a football team in West London?
Well, it's clearly not the football team in West London, because they're doing absolute dog shit at the moment.
Points, yeah.
They're going to get fucking relegated. And put your smart money on Fulham getting relegated this season.
I think some of the bookings have already paid out.
You know what I mean? They're absolute dog shit. But you can only spread yourself so thinly.
Of course.
You can't be focusing on this, and this. You need to focus on something and dedicate yourself to it. It's very weird at the minute. But did you hear the news of something that was said on Dynamite, I think, or said on AEW TV?
Dynamite. I gotta be honest, I haven't watched it yet.
I don't watch it, but I did read either on Twitter or somewhere that Taz called Moxley Dean Ambrose on TV.
Oh dear.
Was
it like as a scripted thing, or did he just forget?
I think he just forgot, man. I mean, he's an ex-WWE guy himself, and he's sat there at the broadcast position many a times looking at, it's like we do it, though, when we're talking about people on here. We say Big Boss Man a lot of the time when it's Ray Traylor or Big Bubba. Yeah. We say it all the time. Like, I'm probably going to call Vincent Virgil a couple of times today. It's one of them things where someone is this for this long. It's going to come out. You know what I mean? Like JR call him the gay fella her a couple of times, I think, is a bit of a bad one.
Well, what was that on? Was that on Dynamite?
I think it might have been on the pay-per-view or Dynamite last week.
Lord.
Said she. But that's just fucking
speaking of
hilarious.
Jim Ross, very quickly, let's get to our memorabilia section.
Yeah, I know. JR.
A signed trading card for those watching on YouTube of Jim Ross. Thank you, Jim. And before we get again to our main show, let's just remind everyone where we can be found. Chris, this is all you.
I've got a little bit more news as well, if I may. One more little bit of surprise news. And it's kind of, I mean, I hate to be petty, right? But I'm a little bit petty.
Here we go.
So AEW fans, AEW marks that were fucking shouting and giving it all large that, yeah, Renee Young's going to turn up on AEW, rare. No, she's signed a contract for Fox and she's going to be doing the pre-show of SmackDown. So, fuck off.
She's doing the pre-show on SmackDown?
Yeah, I mean, there isn't a pre-show of SmackDown, but there's going to be something. She's signed a contract with Fox and she's doing something with Booker T that is before SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
That was news. Yeah.
That is news. That's news to me. I
read today. But apparently she's signed a contract with Fox and not WWE.
Yeah, independent contractor, innit?
Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to say all those people that were like adamant that, no, she's going to, no. We said.
If you remember correctly, we did talk about this and we said that it wouldn't be wise to go to AEW.
Right.
She was, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, she is above that. She was better than that. She could have easily got a job on, DAZN, HBO, Fox, NBCSN, any of those top sports channels, sports casting networks, whatever you want to call it. She's a different sort of, there's a different confidence about her that's just, she's better than wrestling TV, if we're honest.
Well, but she's doing something now, still kind of in with WWE, but from the Fox side of it. So that's what I read today anyway. So
almost like the CM Punk deal.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. Exactamundo.
Someone we haven't seen on, for a long time.
Oh, and the AEW fans were constantly going on about CM Punk ending up in AEW, and it's just like, oh, for God's sake. Like, they're the first ones to talk about ex-WWE guys and blah, blah, blah. But, oh, no, Moxley's fine. Oh, no, yeah, get CM Punk, Just they're so, anyway, we ain't even talking about that this week.
Right. Remind the good people where they can hear us.
Well, we are on YouTube at the moment, so you can catch us on YouTube, Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast. Jordan is hitting up all the time on the Twitter and the Instagram, which is at Chat Grapple Pops. You can catch us on all various podcast platforms, Podbean, Spotify, Deezer, Listen Notes, Castbox, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music now,
good one.
iHeartRadio, and the Daily Smark. You can catch us on every single podcast platform available. You can catch us on there.
That's we're everywhere.
We are indeed.
Kind of brings us to our next point, which is this show, which is based around the group that took over.
Indeed.
It is January 25th, 1997. It is a Saturday night. It is not a Sunday. It's trying to be different. We are at the 5 Seasons Center in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That is a lot to say in one sentence.
Say that.
Because we are NWO sold out.
It's the first ever sold out event. This is like this week was like absolutely packed. So they had like Nitro, like Night of Champions, and then this on the Saturday, weren't it?
Right.
It was like
they did the Nitro, they did the Clash the night after
Clash
Nitro.
of Champions, yep.
They then had Sold Out, and then it was a Super Bowl the next night. And let's be honest, it didn't work because the Royal Rumble the week before, on the 1997, so from the Alamo Dome, this was a big one. I think it did 244,000 buys. The Royal Rumble did 244,000 with about a live gate of around 70,000. It was a big one at the Alamo Dome. It's a massive arena. This pay-per-view, on the other hand, only did 170,000. It would have been outscored by the Royal Rumble, which was always expected, because the Rumble was one of the big ones. And Eric Bischoff himself would freely admit that this was a bit of a mistake.
I mean, there was 5,000 people in attendance for this one. 5,000
felt like it, yeah.
Odd in attendance, and it is kind of widely known and accepted to be possibly one of the worst produced shows, I think, ever that WCW did. I mean, for me, it had massive flaws in production. It had problems with the segments where people weren't scripted, and it was just dog shit.
Let's be honest, the segments in between matches were awful.
They're horrible. There was no interviews. But
no Mean Gene, yeah, no Mean Gene.
The premise of this was, and when I was working today, I listened to the 83 Weeks episode where Bischoff was talking about this event, and he was kind of explaining a few of the different things and why they did this and this. And, the premise obviously was that they were pushing that the NWO was in control of everything. They ran everything. They could do whatever they wanted. They were above the law and the rules and everything. They had one ref who was in an NWO shirt, all doing every single match. The WCW wrestlers were at ringside. They weren't really involved unless they were involved in a match. So it was like there wasn't really any kind of storyline continuations in this. It wasn't based on that. It was literally just, it was like a long TV episode, really.
A bad one for the first half of it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it was It was different. I didn't mind the look of it. I actually thought that it was all right. I love the ring. I absolutely love how the ring looked. I didn't mind, the way everything, the set looked and everything. But good gosh, where did they get these fucking people on motorbikes from? It was, I mean, anyone who's watching this, right? We implore you, do not take our word for this. Watch this show. It is on the network. Watch this show and just watch it and just take it in for what it is and just see if you agree with what we're talking about. To be honest, you could probably watch it, the first half of it, probably while we're doing this podcast as well, because let's be honest, the commentary was not up to scratch.
Well, in our commentary, it's not even a commentary booth. They've not got screens. They're not taking that seriously. It's Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase, and or Trillionaire Ted, as I like to call him.
Trillionaire, the $1 trillion.
The set's really cool. Like, it's a good set. It's a nice thing. Like, but they open the show, and this is weird. The NWO are getting a police escort whilst they are riding. We like to call them bin lorries, but if you don't know what that is, it's a garbage truck.
Yeah, they're on the bin. They're on the bin van.
They're on the bin.
You know what I mean? They were Duke the Dumpster Drosies.
We get a public address type deal, like he's Hitler banging on the table from Eric Bischoff. It's an NWO love fest, and it doesn't get any better until maybe 2 matches from the end.
Yeah, over halfway through.
I mean, obviously, we're going to tell you about what happens. So if you don't believe us when we say some of these things, go and check it out. But I mean, I'm just going to get on ahead. I mean, as well as that, you've got some Dallas Cowboys in, because Hogan's, as they make their entrance into the arena, Hogan is chanting or talking about the Dallas Cowboys. There are a few in attendance with them. But
that wasn't supposed to even happen, because Bischoff even said that they weren't paid to be there. They just turned up probably because Hogan and that was there, and
Hogan invited them.
He just said, "Yeah, come on, I'll get you on TV."
Our first match of the night is Chris Jericho. I mean, 30 years in the business, Chris, as of last night, against the man dubbed the baddest man from Japan, Masahiro Chono.
Yep. The Japanese member of the NWO.
Yeah, that's right. They're saying they stole him from New Japan Pro Wrestling at the time. Our NWO referee is in charge. He's in charge of every match of the night. It is Nick Patrick. I thought he played, because I watched the Clash last night before doing this today. Nick Patrick at times is hilarious as the NWO referee.
I thought he was quite good at times. It did get a little bit boring though.
It wore thin.
It did really,
every match.
But I'd like to say he was quite good at times. It was a good premise, and again, it was selling the fact that the NWO could do whatever they wanted to. They had their own referee. He was cheating constantly all the way through. It was really blatant and stuff like that. It was. We missed a little bit as well, where Elizabeth is there with $1 trillion man Ted DiBiase and Bischoff, and Bischoff makes her take his jacket off and then put it back on him, like this leather jacket thing, and she looks really reluctant to do it. It's just a really weird moment, but the referee, Nick Patrick, he was pretty good, I thought, but it did wear thin. And the old birds sitting round on the motorbikes was really weird. Like,
they really will be part of the show later on. But yeah, there are some women on motorcycles just sort of hanging around because we will have.
And blokes just hanging around like bikers, like biker blokes, like some rather large chaps sitting around like with massive beards and biker
Remember Jim
jackets.
Cornette once said in a promo that Bischoff liked to hang around with studly guys on motorcycles to make himself feel like a real man. Yeah.
You know what he funny? Like the word that they use for motorcycle, they call them hogs.
Yeah.
But that's also a euphemism for a penis. If you've got a fat penis, you call it a hog, right? So there was a moment when Bischoff says, "What's more hot than a woman with a hog?" And I just at one point I was just like, brain hurting.
Nothing like a WCW phallic reference, is there?
Of course not, bro. Of course
Carson
not.
City Silver Dollar on a pole match and all of that stuff, and now we're riding hogs.
It's such a weird pay-per-view to watch. It's so strange. Like, it's so weird.
We have some guys making their way into the arena from, they obviously bought tickets. It's WCW guys. It's Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry, who plays a wonderful part later on in this show. The Faces of Fear are here. Brian Knobs, Randy Anderson, the referee. My personal favorite, hero to everyone, Mongo is here. What a treat. What a treat for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Deborah's there looking like a fucking prom queen with like some kind of, like they get involved anyway later on, but she's there with like a sash on and like a bloody, what do they call it?
Oh, tiara, yeah.
Yeah, with a bloody tiara on and that, and it's like,
Double A is there with them. And Eric Bischoff, this was the best part of it for me, because Eric Bischoff, like in a sarcastic way, says he's really scared, and the camera pans onto Ming. I'm like, you fucking should be.
It's funny because I swear he takes the piss out of Meng and Barbarian later on in the show.
I wonder if they ever heard it.
Yeah, it was
Meng
funny.
would rip his face off just for banter.
Just for a laugh.
Yeah. Eric Bischoff also mentions, that we are a packed house. It's 5,120. It feels like it. It's not a big arena. It's not talking about giving away free tickets at your local 7-Eleven, trying to get people to come to a pay-per-view. The WWF did this for the Royal Rumble. It is pretty well known that they did that in and around the Alamo Dome in Texas to get more people in because they hadn't sold out. But
and also because they had the WBF, the World Bodybuilding Federation, as well, thing going on, so they were giving away tickets for that.
Oh, what, in '97?
I think so. He mentioned something like that on 83 Weeks.
Oh, did he? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know he was alluding to the Alamo Dome and like how
they were giving away tickets to pack
they
it
did
out.
They did give away tickets, but it was a big crowd. They got a massive crowd there for, I think it was Shawn Michaels, Sid, or whatever it was. Chono, massive star in Japan, huge in New Japan, but you'd never know it here.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Cedar Rapids have not warmed to him.
For me, it was a weird match to start with. But to be honest, there wasn't really the quality of matches at all. There was no one that we really could have put on first. Who else could you have put on first that wouldn't have just blown the wad of the whole show straight away? I mean, we've got a ladder match later on that they couldn't really put that on first.
The other thing that Bischoff mentions in his podcast is that he said the show was lacking compelling storyline, and he's right, because Chono and Jericho has no backstory. And
zero. So no one gave a shit. No one gave a shit about.
The fans chanted USA when Jericho's from
Canada. Yep. And Bischoff was like, "Well done. You guys know where you come from. Well done."
There was a spin. I think it was a spin wheel kick, and Eric decides he goes a jump back leg round kick.
Yeah, he was.
I'm just at this point, I'm like, oh fuck! Like, I'm glad he's got the moves down, because Ted's not doing nothing. He's not doing anything. He's just,
Not really.
a few one-liners that aren't very good. He's even laughing at his own jokes. Yeah, that does not go well. The crowd do react to the slow count from Nick Patrick. It does piss them off, but again,
Really slow counts, yeah.
There's an awkward botch from the top rope with Chono. It doesn't really, I think it.
I don't even know what they were trying for, if
No,
I'm honest
exactly.
with you.
It doesn't. Yeah,
It was a
weird to describe.
miscommunication. Yeah, it was a miscommunication, I think. I think it was. I think Jericho was going to go up top, and he ended up going up top, and then just literally jumping off, and they kind of cuddled and rolled on the floor like they were frolicking.
Chono gets a table out to pretty dim reaction. He tries to kick Jericho off the top rope into the table. Jericho doesn't fall into the table, so Chono just pushes him through it. Again, zero reaction to this.
Yeah,
it's a lousy spot, and they didn't read the crowd well at all. But I suppose you're just trying to get. I'm just trying to get to the end. We do get the Mafia kick after this, or the Yakuza kick, whatever you want to call it, for a 3 count.
Yeah.
Chono wins.
It was dog shit. It was absolute dog shit.
I will mention that Nick Patrick's backwards cap and earring combination is pretty poor at this point. It's unbelievably 90s, and it just fashion is not the thing.
We get another random shot of Deborah in the crowd as well.
We get pics of women that sent in their pictures to be Miss NWO, and Eric Bischoff gets the line in. He likes a woman that can cut wood.
Bro, listen. This is a public service announcement, okay? I've got this in my notes. People have to watch this pay-per-view just to see the weird and wonderful pictures and letters that these fucking weird women sent in. Dude, there's women like posing weirdly on beds. There's one woman who's standing in front of wood with an axe that he says, a woman that chops wood. Yeah. You've got some cross-eyed woman there with glasses. You've got dude, it's so fucking weird. I can't express to you. It's like, it's not even Reader's Wives. I don't think our American audience probably won't know what Reader's Wives is, but it is in pornographic magazines when women just send in their pictures to it. But it's like, it's like a weird, creepy Reader's Wives kind of thing. It's just like
last week we managed to get you to say "Core Blimey." This week we're talking about Reader's Wives magazine. What the fuck?
We're British, mate. We're English. This is what we do. We keep it colloquial. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck me. Jeff Katz is up next. And I've just got, he's talking to the contestants, and I'll use the quotes for Miss NWO, and fuck me, he's awful. I wanted to reach into my screen and start punching.
He was annoying.
He was terrible.
Apparently, his dad worked for New Line Cinema.
His dad's probably ashamed of him then.
Yeah, he worked behind the scenes. Eric put him on TV. Oh, excuse me, I'm yawning just talking about him.
Well, yeah.
Honestly, it was so bad, and again, people need to watch this to see these are supposed to, they're trying to sell NWO as the best thing going in the wrestling industry. They're changing it, right? And they've got these Miss NWO birds that are going to be there, and they're all like munters. You know what I mean? They're all like old birds.
I don't know. There was probably one that was okay.
There was one that should have won it, mate. You know what I mean? There was one that should have won it, hands down, without a doubt.
Even Bischoff said, "Oh, I like you." You know, he was.
She was vexed. She was vexed that she didn't win. I think. You know what I mean? But they're trying to sell it. But what happened again on 83 weeks? Bischoff says he went and asked for them to bring 10 women, but he didn't want them looking like, the Dolly Bird kind of, stripper model kind of thing. But for fuck's sake, you could have found nicer looking women if you're going to make it such a huge segment of the show. And it really was a huge segment of the show. I don't understand what they were trying to sell.
Put together, those segments probably lasted longer than most of the matches.
Absolutely, dude. And another problem is they didn't give these women a script. They didn't give them a script. You can clearly see because this Jeff, what's his name?
Half of them
Katz or
couldn't hear what
Getz or
he was
whatever.
saying.
He's going to them asking questions, and they're like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, whatever." And it's like, for fuck's sake, if you're gonna make it part, this is why I say the production was not thought out on this. There was no, if you're gonna have, if we were gonna have birds on here that we was gonna ask questions or whatever, or we had, you'd say, right, we're gonna ask you this question, think of a cool answer, or we'll give you a script saying, right, this is your answer, and we would have set out, Jesus, it was just honestly the more the Miss NWO thing went on, the more it annoyed me because it was like, look, if you're gonna do something like this, at least make it like good. But it was just, it literally looked like they'd gone to the nearest like biker bar down the street and said, right, here's a bit of paper. Here's 10 bits of paper. We're going to write on these bits of papers number 1 to 10 in big black biro or marker. And then you've got to tape them on you with black tape, which is exactly what they did. And some of them have got them on their legs. Some of them have got them on their chest. Some of them have got them on their arms. And it's like, you've literally just gone to the local biker bar just to get some motorbikes and some old people.
Well, he said they got them in because they didn't have to fly them in.
They didn't have to get them hotel rooms, and they didn't have to do this. And
they lived in the area.
It was completely degrading to this show. Like, this is your first ever NWO show. You're pushing Miss NWO. You have to have some hotties, bro. You have to have some hotties. At least Ric Flair and the Horsemen had Liz and Woman, for fuck's sake. Like, you can't be having like these munters, someone's nan in a waistcoat, like sitting on a Harley. You like,
I don't know where we've gone with this.
It's mental, dude. Honestly, I was just like blown away. I was absolutely blown away. Like, I don't understand who would have
who booked this crap, and we know
who booked this crap.
Yeah,
it was the King. The King booked it, but
not Jerry Lawler. Yeah, the other
no.
guy who referred to himself as the King at the start and end of the show.
But on his podcast, he was trying to sell it. Like, when Conrad was asking him, right, whose idea was it to get these women, and whose idea was it not to give them a script or to work out the answers first? And he was trying to blame this person, that person, the other person.
Yeah, no.
And it's just like, dude,
no
for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
man, no accountability. It was absolute dog shit. For me, this was the first NWO pay-per-view, and if they were going to go on this premise that they had control and they were the best thing going today, excuse using that phrase, but they should have really just had bare hotties. They should have had loads of hotties. Don't care. If you're going to do something that gaudy and that like trashy, at least like make it super trashy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to do it properly.
Should we move on to the Mexican death match in Cedar Rapids?
Yeah, the Mexican death match with two white guys in Iowa.
Well, I'm not really sure how connected to Mexico Hugh Morris and Jimmy Hart and Big Bubba are. So
no, I think they've probably met Limo Rickshaw once, and that's about it. That is their connection to Mexico. They gave some girl a Quaalude once. I don't know.
It's another gimmick match for Bubba. It's the only match we seem to find him in.
We feel bad for the guy, Ray Traylor, like one of the nicest blokes ever, but again, I didn't quite get the booking of this match because, right, look at the name. Mexican death match. Okay. What are you expecting from a Mexican death match, Jordan? What do you envision in that beautiful mind of yours when I go, right, we're gonna have a fucking Mexican death match? Go.
I'm seeing a street fight. I'm seeing an absolute brawl.
You're seeing a brawl, you're seeing blood, you're seeing guts, you're seeing chairs, tables, chains.
All over the place, yeah.
All over, wiping the floor with people, right? When a chain was introduced, and the referee saying, "Get out of here! Get out of here!" What?
Patrick.
This is supposed to be a fucking. Yeah, but what are the rules to mixing? Ultimately, it was a last man standing match. That's what it was.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just call it that. It's a last man standing match. Whoever wins is the person standing up for 10 seconds while the other person's on their ass.
Yeah.
This was horrible, this match.
I've got less than 3 lines of notes on this because I put as much into it as Bischoff did. Probably more.
Yeah. It was. I mean, there was a moment in this match where I actually just said, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Like, I will tell you the point of what it was shortly, but
let's try and get through the notes. I mean, like I said, it's another gimmick match for Bubba. They seem to be the only matches we do with him. Bless him.
Yeah, poor bastard.
It's not a tape fist match. It's the Carson City silver dollar on a pole.
On a pole match, yeah.
Jesus, yeah, that's a lot. He hits a low blow on Hugh Morris. There's a chain. Like I said, I've got little notes on this match because it's garbage. Hugh Morris hits the moonsault, the no laughing matter, which is a good, it is impressive. He's a big guy. And Nick Patrick does the slow count again, and this is where I'm done with the slow count thing. It's like, okay, it's a bit silly now. Like, you did it once, you pop the crowd, and now the crowd are just like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, they're not buying it, man, because he started the count, got to 6, and then went back to 1 again, and then was
like
1.
Hit his hand or something. Oh god. Like,
yeah, or Jimmy was shouting, so he went to Jimmy, said, "Oh no, stop shouting." But yeah, it was absolutely fucking crazy, man. It was like, and he was slapping Bubba to wake him up halfway through the count.
I'm going to skip to the end of this because good lord, Bubba runs over or runs into Hugh Morris with a Harley Davidson.
Well, no, it was a point before this that I actually looked at the screen and was watching it and said, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" It was right. Oh, so they're outside the ring. Morris picks up Big Bubba and literally just dumps him on the floor, and it looked very painful, I must add. And then he starts walking up the stairs, and you think he's going to do a moonsault off the stairs onto Bubba. And he does this like...
He bottles it.
He bottles it. And it's like this weird, twisty, kind of turny, landy, on your sidey,
I think Bischoff would have called it a jumping side splash.
It was something... I just was like, oh, for fuck's sake. If you're going to try and do something, do it. But, like, come on, man. That was ridiculous. And then, yeah, like you say, Bubba goes and pushes one of the old birds off the hogs. And...
he runs into him with a Harley Davidson.
Runs him over.
He's done. It's finished. Like, again, like, you wouldn't believe what we were saying. He runs him over with a Harley Davidson. That's the end. That's the finish of your match.
Yep.
Go and watch it if you don't believe us and like what we've actually just told you, because that match happened.
It happened. We watched it. Yes.
I'm going to try and get through this next bit quick because my notes are... I think I called Jeff Katz more names in my notes than I've ever called anyone in any show so far.
Yeah, I mean, we were glad the Mexican Death match was over. It was a piss poor match. We're glad it's over. And then who've we got? This fucking waste man again.
I didn't call him a waste man at all.
He's a waste man. Some more colloquial slang for your ears.
Yeah. It's I've already got on my notes here. We're back to Jeff Katz, who I already hate.
Yeah, but
it's more Miss NWO crap. He's talking to the contestants. It's boring. It's hideous.
They have no answers for his question.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it like a Miss World competition, but these women have got no answers. Some of them, I swear, they need their hearing aid turned on. One of them goes, "Sorry, I can't hear you."
Yeah.
Switch it on, love. Switch it on.
And they plugged the website. That's the next bit. Like, I can't keep talking about Jeff Katz.
No, but they also had some weird women dancing behind these screens.
Behind the screen, yeah. I don't know.
Oh my god! It was like the most awkward, like, old white woman dancing that you've ever seen in your life. Like, there was absolutely no rhythm to it. Like, they're like clicking fingers. It was like,
Oh, gee.
oh, dude, it was like your drunk auntie dancing at a wedding. Like, it was fucking awful. Like, please, people, don't take our word for this. It's getting to the point now where it's so bad that it's good. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it might end up in the descriptions when we post it later. So bad that it's almost funny.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It was so bad that it was good, like Bullseye.
I expected more of our next match, though. I thought things would pick up, maybe a slight bump. It is Jeff Jarrett against Michael Wall Street, or formerly known as IRS, or Michael Rotunda, whatever you want to call him.
Or Bray Wyatt's dad.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt's dad, the Fiend's dad. That's a hell of
This
a
is the
gimmick.
Fiend's dad. Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring him out and like tell the Fiend to behave himself or something. You know, stop being so naughty.
You've been a very naughty boy. You won't have your sweets after your dinner. Behave.
Nick Patrick's doing his best to help Wall Street. Eric Bischoff makes a very interesting point here, because they are talking about a match later on. Scott Hall invented the ladder match.
Yeah, I clocked that.
Oh, I don't know. I've got a lot to say about that.
Because they're trying to sell that he was giving Six like loads of tips and, you know, how to do this match. But yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, it's oh yeah, I don't know. Like he says that he invented the ladder match. I will go into it later on, because I've got a little bit more later on to talk about it. Jeff Jarrett takes a nice bump though over the barricade. I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, but it was all right. But
And
again, it's getting a bit boring already, and we're like 3 matches in, where you've got, you know, like the voice of the NWO, you know, the guy, the NWO, you know, loser. Yeah, you know, like there's no music for any of the WCW guys, and $1 Trillion Man Ted DiBiase says, oh, yeah, I think Eric says, oh, someone's forgot their music. And he's like, yeah, I kind of forgot it. Ha 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 ha.
yeah.
You know, like, and so all the NWO people coming out to the same music. The you know, and it was starting to it was starting to annoy me by this time. But yeah, but don't you think that Double J looked like he was quite out of place, I think, here, because you've got, you know, the NWO, they're all wearing T-shirts and jeans, and
His
kind of
outfit is dated. Yeah,
his outfit is very, very dated. It's like very stripper-like.
he's
It
still
was
wearing
like
the
the
Double
old.
J stuff from 1995. Yeah,
It's exactly that, you know, and it's like, it looks like Scotty Riggs's old kind of thing, though, when he was like the stripper gimmick, you know, and it is kind of that kind of thing, where the American male kind of shit, and
oh
he just
no.
looked very like, yeah, very dated. He was just really out of place. It was like it was a bit weird, but I mean, Double J can work,
Yeah,
but like you're saying, it was
so can Wall
again.
Street.
And Wall Street can work, but it was so disappointing, this match. Like, it was, I think the whole thing of wrestling, of the good guy, the bad guy, you know, the dynamic between them, the referee trying to keep the balance. When you throw one of those things out, i.e., the referee's corrupt, it works occasionally in certain aspects, in certain things, but when you've got it for a whole pay-per-view, I think you lose the dynamic of any kind of match that you can have, you know. So it doesn't matter how good really the people that are working are, you just lose that dynamic, and it means every match is dog shit and no one cares what happens. So whether you're watching it or whether you're involved in the match itself, you just lose all. You know, you don't
Yeah,
give a shit. No one cares.
and I've got here, it's another disjointed shit show of a match, sadly. Deborah is trying to get Mongo involved. He's not having it to begin with. They are ripping him to shreds on commentary.
killing him.
Deborah runs him and rules his life and that, and is he allowed to stand up and shit like that? It wasn't very good. Bischoff makes a line which would get him into hot water with a few people. The submission hold that made Ric Flair famous. Yeah.
The figure four.
Yeah. And Nick Patrick drags Wall Street to the ropes. That I did laugh at that. I did think
and the way that they're completely not selling it in the commentary, where they're going, yeah, as you can see, he made his way to the ropes and broke the hold. Like, it's so funny where the crowd are like chanting one thing and they're completely selling it as something else.
Yeah,
like,
they're selling it as they're chanting for the NWO.
Buff Bagwell,
NWO sucks and stuff like that.
Oh, it's so good. Buff Bagwell does it really well in one of the matches.
Now,
really good.
This is where it gets good, because possibly the most over guy on the show so far, the biggest guy in the company, should be champion, definitely. Mongo gets up onto the apron and uses the Halliburton briefcase on Michael Wall Street and he forces Nick Patrick to count to 3. And Patrick is so afraid of this Super Bowl winner that, Jeff Jarrett gets the win. I mean, all because of Mongo, the hero that we need.
Of course, you better count it, baby doll. You better count it, baby doll. It was funny. Deborah's dragging him to the thing, and you've got Deborah chants. You've got, it was quite funny, I suppose. But
is
weird
Mongo is Mongo in your top 2 at this point in '97 of your favorite wrestlers?
I mean, like I say, I've warmed up to him since episode 1 that we did. We're on episode 19 now. I mean, I've warmed to Mongo, and I do think the dynamic between him and Bobby Heenan on Nitro was a thing of beauty. Pepe was pretty good. I do occasionally call people baby doll. I warmed up to Mongo. He's, he shouldn't have been in a ring or anywhere near one.
So what you're saying is that Mongo has not only influenced your life positively, but just made everything better.
He's made his way into my heart. When really, I mean, it all began in that first memorable evening when he came running down to the ring to accompany LT at WrestleMania 11. He first...
Hero is made.
A hero was made. The twinkle in his eye, DiBiase, I'm coming for you, baby doll. Those dulcet tones. He tackled his way into my heart from that day.
That is great stuff. That is really touching. That is. That dickhead, Jeff Katz, is back chatting to the women. I'm just going to skip it because it's an absolute mess. I've had enough.
You know what they actually say? This is the Miss NWO Senior Division. They actually say it. This is the Senior Division. What? So basically, you got someone's nan up there sitting on a motorbike. Fuck off. And there was more terrible shadow dancing behind the thing.
There was.
Your auntie at a wedding had a couple of too many sambucas. You know what I mean? Dancing.
She didn't know what sambucas were until she tried like 4 of them. So
that's the thing. She's on the old peppermint schnapps. She's had one too many.
The NWO sold out crew finally did me a solid and did something decent. They left off Scotty Riggs' music. I didn't have to hear that American Male's crap.
I heard it in my head.
I almost did as well. It's haunting me, that tune. It's Scotty Riggs against Buff Bagwell. Buff had turned on Scotty. They gave them both an ultimatum beforehand to join up, or with us or against us type stuff. Buff joined. We've spoken about Bagwell before. The guy had it.
He had something. He had something. He was. He was perfect, really, for this role. He was a complete arsehole.
Yeah.
He was an absolute arsehole, but he was perfect for the role. You know, you've got the crowd chanting, Bagwell sucks, Bagwell sucks. He goes up to the camera and he's like, "Oh, Bagwell sucks. They love me.
Yeah.
They love me." You know, and at the beginning, so he rolls in the ring and Scotty Riggs starts hammering him, punching him. And then he rolls out and he's like, "That's not wrestling.
Yeah, he
You're going
complains
to
it's
carry
not
on like
wrestling.
that. I'm leaving."
That is really. It's like, I mean, it's sort of like it's comedy, but it's. I mean, it's dragging this show to a better level for us.
Well, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
What did you think of the weird fisheye lens camera thing? I think I already know.
For those listening, I'm already shaking my head. I've got this because Ted DiBiase says, apparently, no, not apparently, this is what he says. He goes, "This is true production quality."
Yeah.
And I've got next to it, okay, Ted.
All right, Edward.
Not really. It's
It was.
a weird, like, almost like before selfie sticks became a thing. It was a camera on a stick.
Yeah.
With a
And it was
fisheye lens.
wobbly as hell. It was like some fisheye lens thing.
Later on,
I mean,
Kevin Nash would push him out the way.
yeah, it's so weird. Like, and it would just pop up in. But the thing is, they were on the fisheye lens camera a couple of times where they missed specific things happening.
Yeah.
Like they missed something in the tag team match. They miss it in the match after that. You know, it was pretty bad. It was. I mean, to be honest, the cameras. I thought it looked quite nice. Like the actual look of the actual all the cameras that they were using apart from that one, the whole look of it,
Yeah.
it looked a bit like cinematic. Like it was, the cameras they were using were clearly very good cameras. You know, and the way it was done was it looked, I thought it was really nice. It was quite gritty. It was, you know what it reminds me of? What's that thing that they're doing in WWE now where they've got a ring without the ropes and they've just got people fighting? The thingy Underground.
Oh, yeah, Underground. I almost thought Unplugged then. That's the MTV thing. No,
Yeah.
Underground. Yeah, Raw Underground.
It was Raw Underground, so it got that kind of gritty look to it, like quite cinematic.
Yeah.
And I really liked what is if the booking was done better, they could have made more out of this. It's, for me, it annoys me, and this is why I get quite animated because of this show, because it should have been and could have been so much better.
Of course it could.
It could have been so good. They could have done it more sneaky. They could have cheated more sneakily and not. But I suppose they were trying to push that we run this shit. You know, we run this shit, and you can't do anything about it. But it just should have been done so much better. But Buff made it better anyway in this match.
Well, we do get the cheapest of cheap heat when Buff gets his arse out.
Yeah. Apparently, two of the girls passed out when that happened.
Oh yeah, according to Easy E. Here's something I found quite funny is that Buff also did the ravishing wiggle.
He did do the gyration.
He did, yeah, that was good. But both guys here in this quite short match are blown up.
Yeah.
You can tell there's a power bomb which almost goes south.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, both of these guys could have been contenders for the ICO Pro award.
I've got Buff down as second place, yeah.
Yeah, I think Buff is second place, 100%. We always seem to agree on this, but on the ICO Pro Awards, I think we both know what it means and what it takes to win a title of such esteem.
Prestige, yeah.
The prestige of the ICO Pro Award. And all you other podcasters that are out there, I don't think they've got an ICO Pro Award. This is a Chat, Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast original
This is an
award.
Exclusive, yeah. Award.
It's an exclusive.
Nor should they have an ICO Pro Award. This is our thing.
Nor should they. Exclusive to us.
Ted DiBiase mentions that that Buff has been working on a new move and he will bring it out tonight. It is the Blockbuster.
It's a terrible move, though. It hurts the person giving it more than it.
For someone that will end up having neck problems, yeah, it's probably not the best move.
Yeah.
But Buff does get the win. Yeah, he wins it. It's not a good match. They get tired. It doesn't necessarily work. I mean, it works for Buff because Buff is slowly getting over. He's working on his unbelievably heel act. I think it's a nice little learning curve for him.
His heel heat is absolutely white on fire. You know, they fucking hate him.
I'm bringing myself down because I've got Jeff Katz up next, and it's a disaster.
Oh, dude, but you're missing the fact that Buff Bagwell, when he walks up the aisle, he's dancing with. There's loads of old birds dancing on the top,
ladies,
right?
yeah.
And he's dancing up there with the old ladies, and then Eric goes something like, "Oh, look at him, he can move," and then he says, "Yeah, he was an entertainer. He used to be an entertainer. Let me just put it like that."
Yeah.
So basically, selling. He used to be a stripper. I thought that was quite good. With Buff dancing at the top there with all the old birds.
Are we skipping the walking disaster area that is Jeff Katz?
Oh, I've just got Jeff again. Absolutely terrible segment. No answers. Not prepped. The production is poor. At least if you're gonna have these fucking birds around there, at least have some kind of script that you tell them that what the question is. And this was the one where they got the old lady going, "Oh, sorry." One of them goes, "Right, bro. Fucking hell." One of the questions was,
Jeff Katz makes Doc Hendricks look like Todd Pettingill.
"Oh, dude, fantastic
that's
analogy."
all I need to say.
One of the questions was, what body part of yours makes you more eligible to be Miss NWO? And one of the old birds says, "Her feet." Her feet.
She said her feet.
She said her feet. And then the other one, he asked her a question. "Oh, what would you use to rub down Buff Bagwell with?" And she goes, "Oh, I don't know how to explain it." And then he goes, "Right, here we go. Let's move on."
Yeah. Please, let's move on.
Please watch it, guys. We are going to keep trying.
Yeah.
Don't make us do this in vain.
Jeff fucking Katz.
Please watch this.
We do finally move into a bit of a. The match isn't great, but we move into a better part of the show because there's a nice pop for DDP. DDP is slowly getting himself over.
Absolutely. He's
going up against Scott Norton, and Norton is a fucking unit. He does not take Ico Pro. Let's just get that clear. He is.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
He like I say, it wasn't all muscle, was it? I don't think either.
No, half of it was tank.
Yeah, it was. The geezer's just absolutely huge. And don't get it twisted. DDP for me is one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. I love the character of DDP from all the way, with the diamond stud and all that. When he came out with the mic, and he was, with Scott Hall, with the diamond doll, the stuff he did with Johnny Too Bad. Johnny B. Bad.
Sorry, can I get in a good God?
Good God. I love DDP. I just, I absolutely love DDP. Big shout out to DDP, especially what he's doing with DDP yoga. He's changed people's lives, but I love DDP. I just,
it's
give it some of that.
Yeah. Ted DiBiase is laughing at his own jokes in this. That is quite sad in its own way. And during this match, we get an arrival in the crowd because the crowd are popping pretty huge for. And in the video, guys, in YouTube, you can see he's arrived. There is our Pop Sting. It's a decent bit of memorabilia for me.
You don't see Sting at any other point at all.
No, well, Sting at this point is turning up. He's trying to see who his friends are. He turns his back on a lot of people to see if they'll attack him and stuff. And I think at one point he even almost aligned with Randy Savage, who was also doing a similar sort of thing, just turning up, not supposed to be there.
Yeah, because the NWO, the $1 trillion man and Eric are taking the piss out of Randy and saying, "Oh, he went to the bus stop and so gave him some money to get the heck out of here and all that." So he's kind of been turfed away. Was Sting not talking at this point?
No, no talking. Just
Yeah.
he would occasionally stand there and just stick his arms out. But this. I thought this was quite a good thing about this interesting thing about Scott Norton. Like, I didn't know his backstory a lot, to be honest. You know, he does later become a New Japan World Champion, which is hilarious in its own right. But Norton worked the door at Grandma B's, which is the notorious nightclub or establishment, as Eric Bischoff called it, in Minneapolis, where, you know, Legion of Doom and Rick Rude at times had worked the door, and Scott Norton also worked that door. And
Yep.
yeah, he'd seen some people. He said people would turn up just to see Scott Norton throw people out.
Yeah.
And I could believe that.
Yeah, it was. He said that on Nitro as well a few times when
Yeah.
Scotty Norton first came into WCW. I remember he debuted on Nitro, and he said that, yeah, I saw him at Mama B's in Minneapolis, and but yeah, I used to sit there and he used to entertain me with him throwing people out.
Jeez, yeah, that's I mean, Hawk and Animal also worked there. Rick Rude worked there. There was a notorious story about Rick Rude knocking a guy out whilst he had his own arm in a sling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just messed up. This match does not get going because Buff Bagwell and a gang of the NWO come out to offer DDP a spot in the NWO. They said, no, we talked to Scott and Kevin, it's fine, because DDP had taken the NWO shirt the week before and then given Scott Hall, I think, or even Nash, one of them a diamond cutter and left through the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, really hot stuff on Nitro. And he takes the shirt, he hugs, you know, whoever he hugs there.
It was Buff. Yeah, because you had Buff, Wall Street, Vincent, Bubba, they all come down. They're like, it's okay, baby. You got Buff like, it's okay, baby. You know, we want you. We
Scott
love
Norton's
you.
not feeling it. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
He's just been working a match with him. But they all turn their back, and DDP gives Scott Norton a diamond cutter. This is a massive pop. DDP is getting the fuck over here. He's turning himself into one of the biggest stars. It would gradually get there to the big time, to the main event, but he leaves through the fans as well, which always works. You know, the fans are super into what he's doing. I wouldn't really call it a match. I'd call it a segment.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the match just wasn't anything really. It was a bit, you know, stoppy starty, but I suppose it was one of those ones where it was just a little bit of filler,
I feel bad for Scott Norton because he got beat by Eddie Guerrero at Clash of Champions a few days earlier.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, because of some screwing around from DDP.
And DDP, when he runs into the crowd, he gets right up into the crowd and he rips his shirt like Hogan. He rips
the NWO shirt, yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And then the referee obviously turns to the camera and says, I award this to Scott Norton. He wins by count out. And they were Jeff was talking to number 9 and number 10 of Miss NWO while they're showing the replay of DDP. Like, it was, the production was just
got Jeff Katz as being a tosser again.
Yeah, yep.
And that's, for those who, aren't familiar with the English word tosser, is whatever, like he's being a wanker.
It was, there's quite a funny tweet that WWE put out years ago. And it was about, I think the wording of it was, one of our top 10 moments is Mick Foley and Undertaker on top of the cell, and he tossed him off. And then Mick Foley says, yeah, for the benefit of our UK fans, you probably shouldn't use the term tossed off because it means something completely different there. So, yeah, The Undertaker didn't actually toss Mick Foley off in the way we look at the word. Yeah. But, yes, he's a tosser, this Jeff Katz.
Our show finally takes a turn for the better because it's tag team championships. It's the Steiner brothers taking on the Outsiders, and let's just say we have our ICO Pro Award winner.
week in, week out. He never fails to disappoint.
He never fails to impress.
He never does. Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner.
Yeah, this is long before Big Papa Pump. This is just Scotty Steiner from the Steiner brothers.
Scotty,
He is
but
huge.
he's absolutely pumped. Absolutely pumped.
And this is our first sign of tassels.
Yeah.
We finally get tassels on a baby face.
We have the voice of NWO as they're coming out and they've got no music. The voice of NWO just gives them a little introduction, and it's always derogatory. And the Steiner brothers, when they come out, it says the dog-faced Michigan butts or something like that. And they turn around, they're like, what? And then it just says loser again when they come out. Loser.
We finally get some decent wrestling.
It was all right. Initially, anyway.
Scott Steiner is, throwing Scott Hall around. Hall is great as well here, but you can tell that the fans love big, sexy Kevin Nash. He tags in, and the place, really is into it. But Kevin Nash getting ragdolled by Scott Steiner is a thing to see if you've not seen it.
It gives him like a pump handle.
Throw him around.
Yeah, it gives him like a pump handle suplex and literally ragdolls him.
It is beautiful. I have a question, Chris. We don't get, sometimes we get lost in this. Where do you rank the Outsiders as a tag team?
To be honest, I don't think they were together long enough, really, as a tag team per se.
Yeah.
To really make that much of an impact.
2 years on top, though.
2 years on top. I mean, as a heel, even in this match, they were quite good as a heel tag team.
Yeah.
They're not quite Hollywood Blondes level, but they were good. I like them. I mean, individually, I rate Scott Hall better than Kevin Nash as a worker.
That's a bit of a given.
It's a given, and also Jordan had the pop of Sting, and I've got the Razor Ramon.
Oh, that is lovely.
Which is beautiful. It was my birthday last week, so I treated myself to a pop.
Thank you to those on Twitter who did wish Chris a happy birthday. I did put it out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, dude. Much appreciated. I'm getting an old man.
Look, 41's the new 32. Come on now.
I ain't 41, you punk bitch. I'm not far off. I won't lie to you, but I'm not quite at 40 yet. But I'm getting there. My son will tell you that I'm ancient, but I'm not quite there yet.
So,
again,
as a tag team with the Outsiders, you rank them. I mean, they dominated WCW in 96, 97. So it's.
To be fair, though, the WCW tag team landscape was bleak, really.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, in the whole of WCW, I mean, what standout tag teams really were there that were of any kind of
during that time?
Yeah,
I would stick with the Steiners and Harlem Heat.
Harlem Heat. Absolutely fantastic. I feel really, really bad. This is why I feel bad kind of putting the Outsiders above Harlem Heat, because Harlem Heat were absolutely fantastic. Stevie Ray and Booker T. I'm not a fan of Nasty Boys. Public Enemy, I weren't a fan of.
I'm just surprised they didn't have another street fight on this show.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a fucking bread and butter for them, weren't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what other tag teams were there at the time apart from Harlem Heat?
You've also got around this time in the WWF, you've got, the tag team landscape there isn't great.
It was all right, though.
Godwins.
Headbangers, Godwins, Smoking Guns.
I mean, I'm definitely not knocking Owen and Davey. They were brilliant, but
yeah, was it Owen and Yokozuna was a little bit before this time, weren't it? Who were possibly one of my favourite tag teams of all time.
Oh, number one.
Ichibang.
The outsiders get the heat on Rick Steiner. Scott is brilliant on the hot tag, but Nick Patrick gets bumped. He gets bumped out of the ring. And then Randy Anderson in that fine clobber he's got on that like black polar neck thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the ultra white trainers.
Yeah. Randy Anderson comes in and counts 3 on Scott Hall. And there's a good pop for it. It's a decent match. It's okay. It's not.
The finish, no, the finish was good. The beginning was good, and the end was good. The middle there was a few botches, a few weird bits. It was just Rick getting beaten up really, and Scott on the apron.
Now I've got a little bit here for you because this did make me laugh. Like the one line from Bischoff, everyone here is standing. They are livid. Like
yeah.
And then the commentators go on protesting. And I've even got a big word here, vociferously. Like that's definitely not me. But it was almost like Hogan crying for Jack Tunney.
It was almost. It was almost Hogan being a bitch and getting Tunney involved. It was
crying about it. Like it was. I mean, great for heels, but when Hogan did it, it's awful.
Yeah.
And there's also a bit like I have to comment because for some reason, the director or whoever's in production has a massive hard on for the geezer in the white shirt who keeps flexing in the crowd.
They keep going to that corner. They keep going to that guy in the white shirt flexing and the black guy standing next to him with the muscles. They all keep going to that corner.
There's a guy wearing an extra small shirt and he's just constantly flexing whenever the camera comes to him.
Looks like some Jersey Shore, fucking guy.
But yeah, I'd had my fill of that guy by this point. I'm like, stop cutting to him, please. Like, just flexing. It's just so bad. And this is, I was saying they do think that the Steiners have won the tag team titles. They haven't. I think the decision gets reversed on Nitro because Randy Anderson's not the referee.
Some of the fans are actually throwing in rubbish at this point as well.
That's usually something reserved for the end of the show, but they decided to start chucking it in now.
Yeah.
Finally, we get something. We almost get something decent. It's the US title, and it's champion Eddie Guerrero against Six, Sean Waltman, X-Pac, 1, 2, 3 Kid, however you want to.
No, Six was the champ.
No, Guerrero's the champ. Six stole the title.
Of course he did. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, he did. Yeah.
Eddie Guerrero makes his entrance. The voiceover thing. This is causing the Mexican jumping bean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and the loser.
Yeah, the loser thing's fine, but don't call him a jumping. What's wrong with these? Yeah, like it's 1997, still not okay. I like this one because they're hanging the belt on a meat hook.
Very funny. It was good. And this is by far the best match on the card.
Absolutely. They're hanging the belt on the meat hook, and I did wonder, is that like an ode to Bischoff, like, working in the meat packing sort of...
Selling meat out the back of a van in Minnesota.
And I've got here, it seems like the show's turned a corner in the ring.
Pretty good. I mean, even Eric Bischoff and the commentary team switch it up a little bit during this match quite nicely.
He does turn it up on commentary because he goes on a rant, which is the best part of the show for him, because he rants on karate guys.
It's
Eric
so
Bischoff
good.
says he's a black belt. That's fine. He rips on Hollywood karate guys. He goes in on Steven Seagal, Jean-Claude Van Damme, but then he goes on about Glacier.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he talking about?
So funny.
He says that
we covered Glacier.
He says they make karate look bad, but Six is the real deal.
He's the real deal. Sometimes, and he goes on, he's like, they take 100 shots and they got 40 cameras just to get one kick looking good. This guy's the real deal.
They go and get their black belts in the mall. Yeah, like...
Yes, it's good. There's a chop. There's a chop on Eddie Guerrero from Six. And Eric goes, "Oh, that hurt Hector." When
He did say that, didn't he?
he's so funny. He's like, "Oh, that hurt Hector." It's so funny. And if you know, obviously, Hector Guerrero is Eddie's brother or dad or
Brother, yeah.
his brother, who would be in TNA. Hector Guerrero was in TNA for a long time. Yeah, I know that blank look. He was on commentary, the Mexican.
I glazed
Spanish
over for a second. Yeah. Six is destroying himself here to get this match over. He is.
Oh, it was. There's a couple of savage fucking bits, man.
Yeah.
There's a really nice flip from Eddie where he's in the he's in the corner and he just literally flips and lands on his feet.
Yeah.
And this, when I see Eddie at this time and I'm watching him at this time, it does make me a little bit sad, because there was a time where Eddie was this kind of cruiserweight, jumpy, flippy, hoppity, skippity guy. And there was a point after he had a really serious car accident.
Yeah.
And he fucked his hip, he fucked his spine, and he had to completely change the way he wrestled. He had to change his whole style. And I think that's when he got into painkillers and steroids heavily, and began drinking a lot more, and he changed as a person. Yeah, it's just and then that in itself makes me think of the Chris Benoit Dark Side of the Ring, where they were talking a lot about Eddie Guerrero and how him dying really affected Chris Benoit, and kind of possibly could have been a deciding factor in Chris Benoit losing the fucking plot. You know, they talk about, Chris just crying for months and months and months and months and months, just literally just crying all the time.
I mean, if you haven't seen the Dark Side of the Ring on, I think it's Vice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vice is, Dark Side of the Ring. They just some incredible episodes there, like, including Benoit, that one. There's Owen Hart. There's one on Owen Hart, one on possibly the greatest promoter of all time, Herb Abrams.
The Herb Abrams one is absolutely mental, man.
Insanity.
The Moolah one as well is fucking crazy.
At this point, we'd like to say fuck Moolah.
All right.
Yeah, what an awful human being that was.
Some people are disputing that still,
I don't know how. Genuinely don't know how. Like, you could. She was pimping people out, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and I feel sorry.
That?
I feel sorry for the lass at WrestleMania, the young lass who came down with Cyndi Lauper. What was her name?
Wendy Richter.
Wendy Richter. Yeah. They do say that Moolah held back women's wrestling for 30 years.
Decades, yeah.
Decades, literally decades.
Yeah, we get. So we'll skip back. We'll jump back into these Guerrero 6 match.
It's just talk about Dark Side of the Ring because we're talking about Eddie Guerrero. But Eddie Guerrero in this match, he was absolutely all over the place, flipping, hopping, skipping, jumping. There was some crazy suplex out of the ring that he took.
I got to be honest. There's some Eddie chants in there, which I mean, I love a good Eddie chant. I think that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but Six tries a drop kick when both men are at the top of the ladder.
It's crazy, that spot, dude.
I'm all over the place at this point. I'm thinking, who the fuck okayed this idea?
Well, they nearly missed. The camera nearly missed this flip that Six did to the outside on Eddie. After he suplexed him out, he took a running jump against the ropes, came over and did like a flip, like a tumble, like a tumble fucking weed thing. What do they call it? I can't remember what they... It's like a cannonball thing, yeah. And they almost missed it. They just caught him doing it because they were using the bloody different camera. But yeah, it was there was some mental spots in this, man. There was some mad spots.
I'm at this point in the show, I'm wondering out loud why Bischoff and DiBiase would be constantly reminding us of the great ladder matches that Scott Hall had in the WWF.
He only had two.
All they're doing is making us want to go back and watch WrestleMania 10 and SummerSlam, whenever it was.
Yeah. It was literally 2 ladder matches.
Like, why do you keep reminding us that he had 2 great ladder matches? Although people have disputed it and said that Shawn Michaels had a match with a ladder and Scott Hall was there. I mean, I don't think that's fair. I think that's a little bit harsh, but I think was it Ric Flair that said that?
Yeah, it's crazy. I've actually got a WrestleMania 10 still of that ladder match. Hold on.
Oh, we're going to get some gold. Here he is.
It's a WrestleMania 10 still, and it is Shawn Michaels coming off the ladder.
And that's
Madison Square Garden, March 20th, 1994. Shawn Michaels and Rage and Ramon. And it was, it was absolutely fantastic. I've got a few of these still.
This is the exact point I'm making, is that they keep talking about Scott Hall having great matches in the WWF, and now we're talking about WrestleMania 10 on a sold-out 97 show. It doesn't make any sense as to why they would keep bringing that up, but it's up to them. Eric Bischoff's in charge. Do what you want.
Well, I mean, they were giving away the results of Raw on live TV.
But they fight. They get up to the top of the ladder again, and they fight over the belt, the US title at the top of the ladder. It's 6 falls. Eddie has the belt. Eddie wins. Nick Patrick has his head in his hands. It's the match of the night by far.
Great match. Yeah. Like you say, the drop kick from the top of the ladder. He kind of missed Eddie's head anyway, but he looked like he kind of connected. But it was a great picture perfect kick. It was absolutely fantastic.
It's something to see. Yeah, if you are going to go and watch it, if you're going to skip and watch that match, then it's probably the best one. Oh,
here's the highlight of the night, Jordan. It's the highlight of the night.
I'm gonna rant. Sorry, Chris. Jeff fucking Katz recaps the contestants in the Miss NWO thing. It's a fucking abomination, and I've got this written down. It's mustn't see TV, but in a way, it's must see TV.
It is.
If you're gonna listen to us and say they must be chatting shit because it can't be that bad, it's that fucking bad. It's never ending. It feels like it goes on forever. Eric Bischoff finally picks a fucking winner. And my head's in my hands in this when I'm watching it, because it's just absolute garbage. I miss the catfight girls from WrestleMania 19.
Do you know what I'm saying? And that was our last episode, guys. And if you haven't seen that, please go back to episode 18, which is in our videos, and it's WrestleMania 19.
Eric Bischoff finally gets to the point that he's probably waited for. He starts kissing one of the ladies.
No, she weren't a lady. She was someone's nan, bruv.
Yeah, he starts kissing one of the nans.
He's kissing one of the nans. There's clearly a winner in this. And it's number 4, Miss D. Clearly the winner, okay?
Yeah. She
no contest, right?
Eric finally kisses the lady, the nan. Mercifully, this segment is not over because she does a lap of honor. It's so fucking ridiculous.
But he doesn't just kiss her; he snogs her twice.
It's hot garbage. It is an absolute dumpster fire of a segment. I would rather watch Prince Iaukea and Shane Douglas do a 2-hour Iron Man match than watch that again. Oh, it just drove me so mad.
You're fucking lying. You would hate that. You would probably vomit 10 minutes into it. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. If this was, number 7, Miss Becky, all I can say is she looks like Hyacinth Bucket, but with a ponytail.
Bouquet, man. Bouquet.
She looks Bouquet. Like, American viewers, again, you ain't going to know who Hyacinth Bouquet is, yeah?
But get a minute. Check out Keeping Up Appearances. Like, what a show.
It's Hyacinth Bucket with a mullet and a biker jacket on, and the throne that she sits on is an actual toilet.
It's an oversized toilet, yeah.
But she's beautiful inside, as Eric Bischoff says.
I don't want to know how Eric Bischoff knew that.
She's a woman with a hog, bro. What can you say?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm hoping she didn't ride Bischoff's hog afterwards.
He snogged her twice. It weren't just, it weren't just a kiss.
Bischoff
It was like disgusting.
Getting his kicks on, live on pay-per-view. Like,
I just eaten a Subway when this segment came on, and I almost vomited it up.
oh,
And my missus, I was going, oh my God, for God's sake. And my missus was like, what's the matter? What's the matter? I was like, nothing. This is just disgusting. Like, it was
number 4 should have won it. Damn.
Number 4 should have won it, goddamn it, Miss D. Maybe we could get her on the podcast and see what she thought. Terrible.
Oh,
Clear winner.
we finally get to our main event. We're still reeling off of that amazing segment of Miss NWO.
Looks like we made it.
The World Championship is finally on the line. It's Giant who's been waiting months for a title shot. Is it because did Giant win? Giant won the Battle Royal, didn't he? He won World War III or something in '96.
Something, yeah.
And was pursuing a title shot. Yeah, I mean, God help us if we ever try and review that, because it'll be 3 rings and 3 cameras. Giant and Hollywood. He goes up against Hollywood Hogan, who is the champion. Hogan is with Nate Newton, Ray Donaldson, and George Teague of the Dallas Cowboys. Let's face it, they weren't playing in the Super Bowl the next night because the Cowboys suck. Now, I've got here, Hogan is lean.
Hogan is quite lean.
Yeah.
He's looking in quite good shape.
And this bit cracked me up because Hogan tries a small package on the Giant.
Hogan's got a small package.
Whose fucking idea was it to try a small package on the Giant?
It kills me, this match, the booking of it, because, dude, the Giant is a man, right, who was pushed off a building not so long ago.
Yeah, 1995, yeah.
He was pushed off a building and he survived. But then Hogan's got him in the...
He wasn't tossed off the building, was he?
He was tossed off, yeah. He was tossed off by Hogan. So, yeah, I mean, I mean, I don't get it, man. I don't get...
Finally lost it.
By this point, I mean, we'd gone down. We'd gone up with the ladder match and then straight back down to Miss D being completely screwed over by Miss Becky.
It's the screw job that no one talks about.
That's the screw job. This is the fucking Iowa screw job that no one talks about. They need to do a Dark Side of the Ring of how Eric Bischoff screwed over Miss D. She clearly thought she'd won it, bro. Yeah. And then she gets put in the sharpshooter. She thinks she's going to reverse it. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, fucking heaven, the calls for the bell. Yeah.
Fucking, you know? If only
my hero in this match is Sherry.
Yes.
Do you see her in the crowd whipping up an absolute storm with the crowd?
Love Sherry, man. Rest in peace, Sherry Martel, man.
Crazy behind that, in front of the hard camera, just getting everyone to cheer the Giant on. I'm like so impressed with this.
Yeah, I mean, it was, dude, this could have been this whole show. And this is the thing. I'd got to this point and I was, and I just thinking this could have been done so much better. It was like they literally, this is like a Rick James, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Like, they've literally just been there. And you can imagine the meeting of, like, how they did this. It was probably just like, it's just them chopping up. All right, so what we're going to do, we get some birds on some fucking motorbikes. Yeah, and then we'll have, like, a Mexican fucking death match. Yeah, and then we're going to have like Yeah, a flip off the stairs. You know, like, this is just completely not thought through. This is just cocaine cowboys.
How many yes men said, "Good idea, Eric"?
Yeah, it was. It could have been done better. The ideas in themselves weren't bad. It was just very poorly executed.
Well,
It
what was
was
the point of those Dallas Cowboys coming out?
it, just to show the star power of the NWO.
Not with the Dallas Cowboys, you don't. Jesus.
Mongo was the one.
Yeah, Mongo's the real star.
Because I mean, during this match, there was some "We Want Rick" chants.
Yeah.
Loads of them. Loads of them. We want
Bischoff
Rick.
gets his cracks at Flair in many forms, and Flair is being slightly mistreated in WCW around this time. Telling him to disband the Horsemen and all that stuff, and saying that Ric Flair at this point, he's not on this show, obviously. He's still one of the big names that WCW has, and Bischoff is sort of keeping him on the sideline.
It was. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the idea of the NWO. I've got a hell of a lot of NWO merchandise. I actually bought recently a WCW NWO ring in great condition. And I just think that it literally did take over, and it took away from a lot of other guys that really could have had a bit more of the show.
Well,
I was
thinking about this, and despite him being a massive, really good heel group, you can only be as good as your babyface counterparts, and keeping people like Ric Flair and that off the show just doesn't work. You're having them.
They killed him.
Having them beat up Chris Jericho, who's Chris Jericho, 30 years in the business, like definitely not knocking him, but Chris Jericho at this point is opening the show and getting jobbed out to Masachono.
Yeah,
it's he's not the super overstar that we know and love today, but yeah.
But this is what I was saying at the beginning of the show. When you take away one of the elements of the freeway thing, you've got the good guy, the bad guy, and the people in the middle trying to keep the balance, right? Yeah. When you take one of those away, you're left with a complete shit show. So if you've got your heel group, your heel faction, you have to have an equal face faction, and you have to make them look good enough for when they get beaten for it to mean anything. Yeah. And it was just literally, it was like they blew their wad with the NWO within a year. It was like they spunked it, they bust their balls, and they had.
It might have gone on for a bit longer, but yeah, I think it was a bit more than a year. I think they sort of eked it out till mid '98.
Maybe, all right, 3 years, 2.5 years, or whatever, but it was like it could have been more if they would have. But by this point, they'd completely killed off any kind of competition. The only real competition in this pay-per-view was really DDP.
Yeah, DDP.
Who was any kind of contest. I mean, why didn't Harlem Heat get involved in the tag team match? Do you know what I mean? They could have quite as easily got involved in the tag team match.
Mongo did. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they should have really had more of a face presence, because then it would have been a little bit of pushback, but it just basically, they made the faces all look like pussies.
Yeah.
So them beating them all didn't really mean shit. It wasn't booked very well. It wasn't booked very well.
You're right, it wasn't booked very well. There was a couple of decent booking moments. I mean, like watching the Giant try a flying elbow from the top rope was something else.
Oh, yeah. It's a big old boy. Old Paul.
Yeah, if Hogan didn't get out of the way of that one, he was finished. You've got the Giant, chance for the Giant, being led by Sherry, which is again like who do you see doing that? Like someone like like Sherry or anyone else in the crowd whipping up the fans into a frenzy. Giant no sells the leg drop. That was good. Thought that was
Yeah,
good laugh.
I've got.
No sells it.
He no sells the big boot as well.
Yeah.
He no sells the big boot, then he gets slammed and leg drops, no sells that, and then he choke slams Hogan. And
Hogan
then,
botches the choke slam.
oh, dude, how can you botch? You know what I mean?
Damn it.
And the fact, the thing is, by this point, the cheating of the referee had got to the point where it was ridiculous.
Well, yeah, Nick Patrick channels his inner Earl Hebner and screws around with the 3 count.
Like 3 times.
Yeah. He gets a choke slam for his troubles. And then we've got Buff, Vincent, Wall Street, Bubba. They all get choke slams too.
Yeah.
And then Hogan uses a guitar. Where did
he gets given. No, I know he gets given it by Bischoff because Bischoff leaves the broadcast position. He goes, "I've got to go and help Hogan. I've got to go and help Hogan." So he runs down there with a guitar, like he's going to start busking, and he gives it to Hogan. And it was just a bit of a shitty finish. Like, you know what I mean? To be honest,
well, there is no finish.
I mean, the Giant, his back is bigger than the fucking guitar.
Yeah.
And he has to get hit about 3 times. He's lying down. They pull his trousers down. They bare ass him at one point, and then they spray his back, didn't they?
Yeah, they spray him.
That sounds a bit rude.
And this is your pay-per-view payoff to someone winning the 60-man battle royal, getting his title shot, and it's a non-finish.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for a lot of people.
No.
Again, you don't have your winner of the Rumble get to WrestleMania and have a non-finish. It's.
I mean, who's really involved in the booking of this shit show? Is it Bischoff? Is it Sullivan?
Good question.
Is it Dusty Rhodes?
I would have money on Sullivan being involved.
Sullivan, I believe,
I've got money on Sullivan being involved in a few things.
Oh shit, son! That is going to be on our soon-to-come Chat Grapple and Cheap Pops podcast conspiracy edition.
Yeah.
I mean, Sullivan, I think, was involved to a point. Bischoff kind of mentions it on 83
I'm
Weeks.
not sure if Dusty's got a role in this at some point. At this point, I don't know if he's just a commentator or does he have an input. Ric Flair definitely doesn't have an input in this.
Not at this time, no.
No, JJ maybe.
Yeah.
But
so, I mean, it's weird because, I can see where they were trying to go with it. I can see why what they were trying to do. They were trying to push the NWO to be this faction that couldn't be messed with. But then how boring is that if they can't be messed with? You've got to have some to and fro.
Well, this is where Bischoff contradicted himself because he said he wanted the NWO to have its own show and his own thing, be its own brand. But then the NWO wouldn't wrestle each other, would they?
No.
So I can't quite comprehend where he was trying to go with it all. Where WCW going to come over and wrestle on the NWO shows and the other way around? Like, who knows? It didn't, they tried it with the NWO Nitro thing where they spent 20 minutes of an actual live show just destroying the set. Like, literally 20 minutes. And people tuned out. So.
Yeah, I mean, this would be the last NWO specific sold out, wouldn't it?
Mm.
But then you also, I mean, you had going forward, you had the WCW NWO pay-per-views.
Well, yeah, they became part of the brand.
Yeah,
it was just fine. Nobody's arguing with it being WCW NWO because it was a very cool visual and everyone knew they were up against each other.
I did like the ring. I really liked the ring and the way it looked. It was great.
Before we go, I think you've got something with Hulk Hogan on the front that you want to show us.
Oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, it isn't WCW, but it is a very cool piece of memorabilia.
It's incredible. Check this out.
and the condition that it's in is fantastic. Because I mean, a lot of people collect figures and a lot of people collect specific things, but I just, any piece of wrestle crap that I see, I will get.
That's a good book too, Wrestle Crap, if anyone's read it.
I've got it, mate. Yeah, wrestle crap. There's a few of them. So I've got an Atari ST, which most people might know, most people won't. I've got pretty much
Classic
every
gamers
single.
out there. None of
Yeah,
this
I've
Twitch
got.
nonsense.
Yeah, I've got. Well, this is where we get to. So on Twitch, they're playing all these games, but I'm here playing my Atari ST, and I've got the WWF WrestleMania game with Hogan there in the front in all his glory. He's been taking his vitamins,
He has
saying
indeed.
his prayers. You got Bulldog and Slaughter there as well. So this is on the Atari ST, which, if people remember, actually took floppy disks. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's, I mean, people of a certain age will definitely not know what this is.
But floppy disks were all the rage. This game, you actually need 2 floppy disks to run it, disc 1 and a disc 2. So we've got both of them there. It says, please insert disc 2 at some point. Got your little booklet there. World Wrestling Federation. This is from like 1990 or whatever. But the special gift, if you can see on the front, it says free WWF video. And this comes with the free WWF video, which hardly anyone has ever even seen, let alone has one. So I'm thinking of ripping it and putting it online. It is like, can't explain it. It's like 1988, 1989 vignettes, videos, music videos. It's got the Dolly Parton Hulk Hogan video. He wrestled my heart. Have you seen that thing?
Oh man,
it's fucking crazy what's on that video, dude. We'll watch it together. It'd be lovely. But some of the stuff on there is great. It's got like Sir Lord Alfred Hayes talking about, you've got the Rockers wrestling, and he's explaining the moves and saying, oh, this is this move. And, you know, as you can see, Shawn Michaels is doing a move called skinning the cat, you know, and he's like, you know, going over. It's just class. So it's got, you know, SummerSlam. It's got all the events for that year. It's got some footage of some of the people going into it, like the WrestleMania weekend and all that.
So what we're saying is you're going to start an OnlyFans account where you just play this game.
That would be fucking amazing, dude. You know, like, I mean, myself and Jordan, right? We're trying to do this all legit. We don't want to be those guys like flogging the Patreon and all this kind of stuff. You know,
oh, absolutely not. No.
You know, we kind of, we want to organically kind of do this stuff. And I mean, leave in the comments and comment on Twitter if you would chuck us $1 here or a quid there. If you would, then, you know, great. But I mean, at the moment, we just, you know, we're just doing this for the love. You know, we're just doing it for the shits and giggles. We're doing it to kind of, you know, because I mean, it costs us money to do this kind of stuff. You know, we have to pay for the podcast hosting, and, you know, we have to take time away from work to do it and shit like that. But, you know, it's like, we don't want to be those guys that are kind of just hawking our podcast at the moment. And we know that there's a lot of other wrestling podcasts and that, but we like to think that you get something a little bit different from us, where we break it down, how we break it down, and we go on tangents, and we have British slang, and we mimic snorting cocaine and coming up with the idea for this pay-per-view, which is clearly what happened. There was just loads of them sitting around the table.
Conceived on cocaine.
Do you know what I mean?
Tagline.
That's it. Absolutely. This was born out of cocaine.
I will at this point let everyone know that we did finally reach 500 subscribers.
Yes, we did.
You know, 500 of you out there decided you wanted to hit the subscribe button for whatever reason. You know, maybe you're on the Chang too. I don't know, but
maybe you're on the Chang, or maybe it was just our constant bitching and moaning, calling you punk bitches, that got you to press the old subscribe button down there.
It's finally happened. We are going to run a giveaway. It will most likely be run on Twitter because that's where most of our followers are. I will have something for you probably maybe to coincide with the release of this. Maybe what day is it tomorrow? It's Friday tomorrow, isn't it?
It is Friday tomorrow.
So maybe we'll run something over the course of the weekend, and you'll be the winner of if you're lucky enough to take part and win. You'll be the winner of one of our fine gifts that we have for everyone. But yeah, we are super grateful that we've made it to 500 subscribers. It's astounding that we've made it this far. We've also almost hit 500 downloads, I think, as well.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good.
Which is just as mad. People are listening. They don't want to see our faces, which is fine. I'm happy for that too.
But we've got more views on YouTube, which means people do want to see our mugs.
Yeah, true.
We get quite a few views every time we put an episode up. We're hitting over 1K view on every single video. Sometimes 2, sometimes 2.5. So every video we're getting decent hits, and we love everybody who's watching for that, because we are very grateful for any time that you give us, and this is why we try and be entertaining. So with this giveaway, dude, what do you reckon? How do we do it? Like, should we take a couple of pictures of all the stuff we're going to try and put in the little package, and then on Twitter we will say, right, this is the stuff we're going to give away. If you want a chance to win it, like and retweet and follow us.
Retweet and subscribe. That's it. That's all I'm asking.
That's right.
Subscriber, you're definitely in with a shout. And who doesn't like free shit?
Exactly. I mean, They won't be getting my Atari ST WrestleMania game.
That's the 100 million subscriber giveaway. That is, isn't it?
Even that, they ain't getting it, bruv. I don't know anyone else that has got that with still the video intact.
Not with the video. No, that's
I don't know anybody.
Possession.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we've got a whole heap of other shit that we will happily give away. I'll tell you, it was my birthday last week, right? And shout out to my sister, right? She got me these socks, bro. These are pretty cool.
As a birthday present, socks are pretty standard in the UK. I don't know if they are elsewhere, but
yeah,
it's what's on the sock that counts.
It says, "Do not disturb. I'm watching wrestling."
Oh, that is.
And it's got a little ring on there. Awesome, absolutely fucking awesome. Shout out to my sister Lisa. Boom.
But you can't wear them every day though, Lisa. So you might need another pair.
I will need another pair, clearly, but yeah, they were sick. I was gassed when I got them. Well happy. I've never been happier with a pair of socks. But yeah, man, we're just loving it, man. Oh, a bit tired. I've been pushing the weights as well, man. Been trying to get that Lex Luger 95 body. You know what I mean?
If anyone has any spare Ico Pro, can you send it to Chris as well, please? He's clearly looking to bulk up. Winter's coming. Things get cold.
That's what I'm saying. I need to be hitting up that the Road Warrior shakes.
If anyone's not seen that video, look that up, because that is disgusting.
Eating like a hawk, just eating raw eggs, just popping them into his mouth and just crunching them up.
It's vile but hilarious at the same time. Some real
great stuff. Paul Mooney. What was his name? Was it Paul Mooney?
Sean Mooney.
Sean Mooney. That's it. Paul Mooney's the black comedian.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit quickly about next week. Next week it's time for my second favourite WrestleMania to go on. It is WrestleMania 8, and if anyone has any questions or comments for that one, give us a shout at Chat Grapple Pops. You'll find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even. You'll find us there. And
I'm quite excited.
Tell me your favourite moments from WrestleMania 8, and we will shout them out.
I'm quite looking forward to that, dude. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania 8 because from a golden era.
It is part of a magical era for us. 1992, for me, it can't be beaten. I know other people have other favorite eras of wrestling that they love and like, but WrestleMania 8 is, again, it's probably not the greatest WrestleMania in the ring, but for me, it's absolutely up there. It's a classic of its time.
It was that year when Flair was in WWF, dude.
Yeah, we go back to Flair being in the World Wrestling Federation, which is,
the great Royal Rumble of that year, the great Mania. It was great stuff. It was absolutely great stuff.
And yeah, absolutely. I can't talk enough about it, and I can't wait to talk about it next week when we finally get to do WrestleMania 8. But yeah, once again, thank you to everyone that's still listening. If you're still awake, thank you very much. If you're listening on where you get your podcasts from, thank you. If you're still watching on YouTube, sweet Jesus, man, why? Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. 500 of you can't be wrong.
That's right. Like and subscribe. The more subscribers, the better. And we're just going to be doing some different stuff. We're just knocking some ideas about doing bits and bobs and other stuff, rather than this kind of sit down for an hour and a half, 2 hour format kind of thing.
We have some ideas. We have some more things coming, shorter videos. If you like it, like us. If you don't like it, just subscribe anyway.
It's free. It's fucking free.
To quote someone who's very prominent on TV, let us in.
That's fucking A, dude.
It's don't be afraid to hit that button. Don't be afraid to comment either. We're nice guys. We don't troll. We're not a couple of clowns that will get upset and start having a go at you the minute you put up a comment. We see that all the time online. We're not fans of that sort of style. We're not characters. We're real people. Drop us a line.
Yeah, man. Come chat to us. Do you know what I mean? In this time, especially, reach out. You know what I mean? Reach out. Chat with us. We're two normal dudes who just love wrestling. And we are going to keep doing this podcast. As Jordan said, we're hitting up WrestleMania 8 is the next episode. And then we have our Halloween special. We're not going to tell you what
specials
it is yet,
coming. It's going to be
the Halloween specials coming.
It's going to be really good. Like, we have something we've looked forward to. We've spoken about, already. Halloween is going to be a good laugh.
Yes.
And there's nothing. I don't think there's much more to say, is there?
Not much at all. Apart from thank you for everybody who's listening, watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, tweeting, retweeting. Do that shit, man. Do that shit. And we are now going to be doing the giveaway. We have hit 500 subscribers. We said we would do it. We are going to do it. We will post up. Follow us on Twitter. So all the subscribers that are watching this video, go across to Twitter. Follow us on Twitter and say you're a subscriber. Let us know. We will go through all the subscribers and then we will announce the winner on Twitter. But we will take some photos of everything we're going to add in this little pack of joy.
Yeah, that's right. If wrestling stuff, who doesn't like wrestling stuff?
That's right.
That's it for this week. We say thank you to anyone that's still here, and we'll see you next week. I be JB, that be Chris Dredd, and we will let the Owen Hart 8-bit theme take you out. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.